What we got here is every now and then the planets, Mercury in particular seems to get all the headlines, goes into
Oh
retrograde.
my goodness. I used to go out with a girl who used to say that her communications are all messed up because Mercury is in retrograde.
So
And
the emphasis there is used to go out with the person.
it's true. It's true. Used to.
So we go around the sun and our angle of view on it changes in such a way that it looks like they went backwards. So the retrograde motion for the outer planets is because of Earth's motion, and the retrograde motion for Venus and Mercury are because of their motion. And it's all because of what it looks like to us. And it's no different from you being like, if you've ever been on a bus or in a train and there's another train right next to you, and then you start moving, but it's really smooth and it looks like the other train is going backwards,
Yes.
right? You've seen
Well,
this,
yeah,
all
of
right?
course.
It's not actually going backwards.
No.
You are overtaking it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how that works.
That's cool. That's a really great
So
way to put it because anybody who's been on a train has had that cool,
yeah, train.
that
You look
cool
out, oh, bus,
experience, and it looks like the train is actually going in the opposite direction. Like, but
and who's moving which way? And
right,
if you're sitting in a backward seat, you
right.
get all confused. Okay,
Yeah, that's cool.
so astrology predates the methods and tools of science. So all of the astrological vocabulary and representations and language and assertions trace to a time when Earth was the center of the known universe. And you would see planets entering areas of the sky, entering houses, areas of the sky where there's a constellation, because people believe that these stars were like put there for our benefit, and they're just points of light on an inside surface of a dome, an inner surface of a dome, and that therefore they're real things. But in modern science, we show that these stars are scattered in space. They're completely scattered. They're not actual things. So the 100 ways till Tuesday for why the foundations of astrology have no justification in a scientifically literate modern world. But people still cling to it. I think it gives them some
Yeah, it gives them something to do every morning. It's called reading my horoscope.
I think it's
That's what
I
it
think
is. No,
it's a
no.
way to offload accountability for things that are or
Right.
random things that are happening in your life. It's a way to not take responsibility. For the way I see it,
Yeah, but also
it's
it's great to have a reason. The worst thing in the world is
if
to
there's something to happen with no reason.
for
Okay,
something to happen with no reason. It's like
there it
you
is.
can't like. There's something about being a human being where when to think that something is completely just random
Hmm.
without meaning for some
We
reason
can't accept it.
we
Can't
can't
accept
accept it. We're like
it. Can't accept
no,
it.
no, no, no.
No. If it was good, then it was God. It was bad, it was the devil.
Yeah,
It was, you got reason for it all.
you
But of
gotta
course,
have a
the
reason.
Greeks had this because they had a God controlling everything, right?
Right.
They had the list of gods were all,
Exactly.
well, they were in everybody's situation.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. My persimmon rotted. Oh, you know,
Yeah,
there's God for that.
right. So there's a God for that. Got an
So,
app for that.
yeah,
We got a
there's a
God
God
for
for
that.
that.
So, what's interesting is they've studied this in psychology, where not only are we uncomfortable with random things happening without some reason that we can know and reach and touch, the thing that happens and the reason that makes it have to be on the same magnitude, right? So it's not just some crazy person who kills John Kennedy. It's the president that was shot. Oh, it's had the CIA, and you need the Russians, and you need Cuba, and you need this. You need you need explanation commensurate with the thing that it is that you're trying to explain. But of course, Shakespeare had it best. Said it best when he says, "The fault, dear Brutus, lies not in the stars, but in ourselves."
Mm. Damn you, William Shakespeare, and your take what is it called when you take responsibility for your own actions?
So
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
So
there it
there
is.
you have it. So so basically,
Oh, by the way, Mercury was not in retrograde during the coronavirus.
Wow.
But had it been, then you'd have people say, oh, there it is.
There
It
it
must
is.
have been, and that's why, and have explanation. So in anybody's life, which is sufficiently complex, socially, culturally, financially, there's always something good and always something bad unfolding that you can either ignore or embrace and match up with some other force that you want to then blame or credit for that happening. And so what you need to do is look at the statistics. If you really wanted to analyze it, you look at the statistics of good and bad things that happen to you. All right. And how often does that take place? And then when it lands on an astrological event, what are the chances of that? Well, it's 100% chances that one of these is going to land on something that's happening in the night sky.
Absolutely.
But think of the hubris of that somehow the universe cares about you. Just think about that.
Wow. Yeah, with all that's going on out there.
Have you seen Earth in a photo from space? It's this dot, the pale blue dot that Carl Sagan speaks so poetically of.
Yeah.
And if you're going to say all of these planets and all these things that dwarf, do you know how big Earth is relative to Jupiter? Jupiter has blemishes the size of Earth.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But you're going to say that Jupiter in this constellation at this time of day affected you when you were born on this speck of dirt we call Earth. That takes hubris. And with hubris, just thinking of yourself as being important relative to other things, and usually without justification.
Absolutely. Well,
so
with that, I'm having bat for dinner, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
Get some coronavirus in you. Now I know you're batshit crazy. So there it is. So there's always something bad and always something good happening, and you always got something to blame it on, if not yourself.